Have you ever been in a situation where you felt like nothing more than a stepping stone? A mere ladder for someone else to climb? It's uncomfortable, right? Fake relationships are like that, hard to see for what they truly are, especially when you want so desperately to believe in the goodness of others. Yet hidden beneath friendly gestures and smooth words, there are clues, small, telling signs left by those who see you only as a means to their own ends. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into something deeply personal that I believe many of us have experienced at some point in our lives. We're going to talk about how to recognize when you're being used in a relationship rather than valued as a person. In this world full of fleeting connections and mismatched intentions, the masks of politeness and self-interest are often worn so skillfully that it's hard to tell who truly cares for you. But there are ways to discern who's real and who's only pretending. It requires more than just intuition. It takes a sharp eye, experience, and sometimes painful lessons. We often fall into the trap of believing too much in the good intentions of others, only to later realize that we were just being used. Like a gardener who knows how to separate the plants that nourish from those that drain the soil, we must learn to identify the true allies in our lives. But just as importantly, we need to recognize those who are emotional parasites, draining us of our energy, resources, and trust. In today's video, we're going to explore the subtle signs, the less obvious patterns that reveal the hidden intentions behind forced smiles and empty promises. Before we begin, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more content about personal growth and authentic relationships. Now, let's dive into the 15 attitudes and behaviors you need to watch out for. Warning sign. 1. Failure to fulfill promises. Promises without actions are like actors without a script, beautifully dressed but going nowhere. These individuals are masters of words. They know how to paint grand pictures of commitment, support, and loyalty. But when it comes time to turn those promises into reality, they disappear like a puff of smoke. They leave you hanging, disappointed and disillusioned. What they've promised was never meant to be kept. It's all just part of a performance, a tool for manipulation to get what they want from you. Their words are like a painter's brush, full of color and life. But when it's time to hang the picture on the wall, it's just an empty frame. In such relationships, a pattern forms. They vanish when you need them the most. Their promises were never about you. They were about what they could extract from you, whether it's trust, support, or just a favor. Failure to fulfill promises becomes a litmus test of character. It shows you who truly values a relationship of mutual respect and who is just there for personal gain. For those left in the lurch, the pain of betrayal becomes a valuable lesson. Not all promises are made with the foundations of honesty and integrity. Recognizing this behavior is crucial in identifying those who may seek to use you. Actions, or lack thereof, speak volumes about their intentions. And by seeing this, you can better protect your trust and emotional investments. Warning sign 2. Diminishing or disdainful comments. Beware of those who erode your confidence, one small comment at a time. Individuals who habitually use others for their own personal gain are often skilled at making diminishing remarks designed to chip away at your self-esteem. These comments are subtle, often cloaked in humor or passed off as harmless banter, but they carry sharp edges. Their aim is to pull you down rather than lift you up. They'll laugh off your successes, downplay your achievements, and show little interest in your challenges. It's a type of psychological warfare. By undervaluing your accomplishments, they create an imbalance in the relationship. The more self-doubt you have, the easier you are to manipulate. They want you to remain in a state of insecurity, never fully sure of yourself, so that they can maintain their dominance. Their disdainful remarks are often a reflection of their own insecurities. By belittling others, they try to hide their vulnerabilities and project a false sense of superiority. Recognizing this behavior is vital. It allows you to see beyond the superficial charm and uncover the toxic dynamic lurking underneath. Once you recognize it, you have two choices: address the issue head-on and set clear boundaries, or distance yourself from this toxicity altogether. Warning sign 3: unilateral benefit. This is when the relationship starts to feel one-sided. Whether it's financially, emotionally, or practically, the individual benefits from the relationship, but you don't. Financially, they may borrow money or resources with the promise to return them, but that promise never materializes. Emotionally, they lean on you for support, validation, and attention. But when you need the same, they're nowhere to be found. Practically, they might constantly ask for favors, but are mysteriously unavailable when you need help. This one-sidedness mirrors a parasitic relationship in nature, where one party benefits at the expense of the other. The user draws nourishment, whether it's emotional, financial, or practical, without contributing equally to the well-being of their host. Over time, this lack of reciprocity drains you. The root of this behavior is self-centeredness, a lack of empathy. They view relationships as transactional, always asking themselves, "What's in it for me?" rather than considering what they can offer in return. Identifying this pattern means recognizing the absence of reciprocity and the persistent feeling of being shortchanged in the relationship. Warning. Sign 4: disregard for your needs or feelings. Imagine tending a garden where only one flower is allowed to bloom, while the others wither from neglect. This is what it feels like to be in a relationship with someone who disregards your needs or feelings. They prioritize their own desires, consistently sidelining yours. Their actions and words cut away at your emotional well-being, leaving you feeling invisible and undervalued. They might routinely overlook your emotional needs, offering no support when you're vulnerable. They may ignore your opinions or make light of your struggles, turning the conversation back to themselves. This kind of behavior is more than just inconsiderate. It's calculated. It's about maintaining control in the relationship by keeping you off balance, constantly doubting yourself and your worth. To navigate this, you must learn to recognize the signs of emotional neglect. By doing so, you can steer away from relationships that erode your self-esteem and instead seek out connections built on mutual respect and care. Warning sign 5: emotional manipulation. Emotional manipulators are masters of disguise. At first, they seem caring and attentive, but soon enough, their true colors show. They begin to play with your emotions, inducing feelings of anxiety, inadequacy, or guilt. One moment they're praising you, lifting you up, and the next they're cutting you down with sharp criticism. It's like being a plant tended by a careless gardener, one who alternates between overwatering and neglect. This back and forth creates a destabilizing environment where you constantly seek their approval, trying to regain the warmth and affection they once gave you. In this dynamic, they hold all the power. They decide when to show affection and when to withdraw it, keeping you off balance. It's not about mutual growth or support. It's about controlling you, making sure you depend on them emotionally. Recognizing emotional manipulation requires awareness. You need to understand how these interactions affect your sense of self and emotional well-being. Warning sign 6: lack of genuine support. Imagine yourself as a lone tree in the middle of a barren desert. Ideally, in a lush forest, you would be surrounded by other trees and undergrowth, receiving nutrients, shelter, and the camaraderie of a thriving ecosystem. But in that desolate landscape, you stand alone, your branches reaching out for support that never comes. This image captures what it's like to be in a relationship where genuine interest in your well-being is missing. When you find yourself in such a relationship, your goals, your dreams, and even your struggles are often met with indifference or, at best, superficial gestures. Sure, they might say good luck when you embark on something important, but it feels hollow. When you need real help, whether it's advice, emotional support, or just a listening ear, they're nowhere to be found. Their words may express concern, but their actions, or lack thereof, paint a different picture. This absence of genuine support often stems from self-interest. Your successes or failures only matter to them insomuch as they affect their own lives. It's a transactional way of seeing relationships, where emotional investment is doled out based on what they stand to gain. This kind of imbalance leaves one person constantly giving effort, time, care, resources, while the other takes, often leaving the giver feeling invisible and undervalued. Recognizing this lack of support is vital. It forces you to confront the reality of your relationship with this person. You may need to ask yourself, is this a partnership built on mutual care and respect, or is one party continuously giving while the other barely shows up? Acknowledging this can be painful, but it's crucial for your well-being. You deserve relationships that are reciprocal, nurturing, and built on genuine support. Warning sign 7. Constant competition. Think of a chess game where every move is made not just to advance your own position, but to undermine your opponents at every turn. Now imagine living in that mental space day in and day out with someone who is supposed to be your partner or friend. This person treats every interaction as a competition. It's not just about growing together. It's about outdoing, outshining, and proving themselves superior. Whether in your personal or professional life, they always try to overshadow your achievements. Did you land a promotion? They'll talk about how they did something even better. Did you share a personal accomplishment? They'll quickly follow up with their own, often inflating it to make yours seem insignificant. Even your struggles become opportunities for them to position themselves as superior, to show that they would have handled things better or smarter. The root of this behavior lies in insecurity. Their self-worth is tied not to their own merits, but to their ability to outshine others. In their mind, for them to win, you have to lose. This zero-sum mentality turns your interactions into a battle for dominance rather than an opportunity for growth and mutual support. Being around someone like this is exhausting. Instead of collaboration, you're met with rivalry. Instead of celebrating your successes, they see them as threats. Instead of supporting you during your challenges, they exploit them. Identifying this competitive behavior is essential for your peace of mind. If possible, it's worth considering whether this relationship can shift to a healthier dynamic where mutual respect takes the place of competition. If not, it may be time to rethink the relationship entirely. Warning sign 8. Absence in critical moments. This behavior is like a tree that provides shade when the sun is mild, but vanishes when a storm is brewing. In the good times, when things are going well, they're there, basking in the shared glow of your successes. They might even reap some benefits from being associated with you. But the moment challenges arise, when the wind starts to pick up and dark clouds gather, they're gone. When you need them the most, they disappear, leaving you to weather the storm alone. These individuals treat relationships like a convenience, something to indulge in when it benefits them, but something to step away from when things get tough. Their involvement is based purely on personal gain. If there's nothing in it for them, you won't find them by your side when times are hard. Whether it's a personal crisis, a professional setback, or emotional hardship, their absence is glaring. The impact this has on you is profound. It breeds feelings of betrayal and disillusionment. You start to question the very foundation of the relationship, wondering if this person ever truly cared. Trust, once shaken, is hard to rebuild, and in these moments, you're forced to reassess whether this relationship has any real value in your life. Understanding this pattern is critical. Genuine relationships are built on consistent support, not just during the good times, but especially when the road gets rough. If someone is absent when you need them the most, it's a clear sign that they may not be as invested in the relationship as you are. Recognizing this truth, while painful, can help you discern who genuinely values you and who's only in it for their own gain. Warning sign. 9. Lack of reciprocity. Picture a seesaw. On one side, you're sitting there heavy with effort, sacrifices, and commitment. On the other side, the weight is featherlight, hardly anything. This is what a relationship with no reciprocity looks like. You're always the one putting in the work, initiating communication, making plans, offering support, and showing understanding. But from the other person? Crickets. Their contributions are minimal at best, often non-existent. This imbalance is more than just frustrating. It's draining. You're investing time, energy, and emotions trying to keep the relationship afloat while they remain passive. They might respond to your efforts with indifference, a lukewarm attitude, or a token gesture, but it never feels like they're truly invested. You find yourself always giving with little or nothing in return. This lack of reciprocity can manifest in many ways. Maybe you're always the one making plans, reaching out, or supporting them through their challenges. But when it's your turn, when you need empathy or help, they're nowhere to be found. Even in simple conversations, you might notice that you're always the one sharing, opening up, while they remain guarded or uninterested. Why does this happen? Because for them, the relationship is just a convenience. They take what they need but have no intention of giving back. Their involvement is purely transactional, focused on their own benefit rather than a mutual exchange of care and support. Recognizing this imbalance is crucial. You have to step back and assess whether this relationship is enriching your life or draining you. Are your efforts to sustain the bond being reciprocated, or are you carrying the weight alone? Healthy relationships are built on mutual give and take. If you find yourself shouldering the burden on your own, it might be time to reconsider the relationship. Warning sign. 10. Gossip and breach of trust. Imagine a double-edged sword. On one side, there's the illusion of camaraderie, a sense of trust that comes from sharing gossip. It feels like they're confiding in you, drawing you into a tight circle of trust. But the other side of that sword is sharp, and it cuts deep, because while they may gossip with you about others, they'll turn around and do the same with the personal information you trusted them with. Gossip, in this context, is not just idle chatter. It's a tool for manipulation. They use it to gain influence, positioning themselves at the center of social dynamics. By sharing and twisting information, they create alliances, manipulate perceptions, and sometimes sow discord, all for their own benefit. But the damage they cause goes beyond social manipulation. When someone betrays your trust by sharing the intimate details of your life, it leaves a lasting wound. The very foundation of trust between you begins to crumble. You start to question your sense of security in the relationship, wondering how much of what you've shared has been passed around like currency. The impact of this breach is profound. It leads to mistrust and insecurity, undermining what could have been a supportive relationship. This type of behavior exposes the person for what they are, someone who sees relationships as tools for personal gain rather than meaningful connections built on trust and respect. Identifying this behavior early on is critical. Pay attention to how they speak about others in their absence. Are they respectful, or do they gossip? Are they trustworthy, or do they use personal information as leverage? Understanding their true intentions can help you protect yourself from further harm and ensure that your personal boundaries are respected. Warning sign 11. Selective availability. Picture this. You're always available, but they're not. It's like being on a one-sided phone line where only one party is consistently reachable. In this dynamic, you're perpetually ready to listen, to help, to give support. Your time, emotions, and energy are always accessible, an open book for them to read anytime they want. Meanwhile, their availability is as rare as a comet, showing up unpredictably and always on their terms. But this isn't just about conflicting schedules or busy lives. This is about a conscious choice. They choose to be unavailable because it serves a purpose for them. It allows them to keep their distance, control the narrative, and dictate the terms of engagement. By limiting their availability, they create a dynamic where you're constantly left waiting, always grateful for whatever little time or attention they decide to give. You find yourself longing for their presence, while they comfortably remain at arm's length, showing up only when it's convenient for them. Your efforts to engage are often met with excuses, delays, or outright neglect. Your messages go unanswered, your calls unreturned, and your needs ignored. When they do finally respond, it's usually because they need something or want something from you. This isn't a relationship. It's a one-way street. You're not a partner, you're a convenience. The emotional toll of selective availability is heavy. It makes you question your own worth and the value of your contributions. You start wondering if you're the problem. But here's the thing. It's not about you. It's about the dynamic they've chosen to create. Recognizing this pattern is the first step. Healthy relationships are built on mutual respect, effort, and presence. If you're always available and they're not, it's time to reassess what kind of relationship you're really in. Warning sign. 12. Making you feel guilty. Imagine guilt as a puppet string, pulling at your conscience, leading you down a path you didn't even choose. The person using you knows exactly how to pull those strings. They know how to tap into your sense of responsibility, empathy, and fairness. They frame their requests in such a way that if you say no, you feel like the bad guy. You feel selfish, uncaring. Maybe they even remind you of a favor they did for you a long time ago, making you feel like you owe them, like you're in their debt. This tactic is subtle, but it's powerful. It starts small, maybe a favor here, a concession there. Over time, it escalates. The demands become bigger, your boundaries erode, and soon you're trapped in a cycle of guilt and compliance. Their needs and wants take center stage, while yours get sidelined, dismissed, or ignored. What makes this tactic so effective is that it preys on your good nature. You want to be seen as kind, helpful, and caring. They take advantage of that, twisting your virtues into tools for their own control. You end up doing things not because you want to, but because you feel obligated, and it leaves you feeling drained, resentful, and frustrated. Recognizing when someone is using guilt to manipulate you is crucial. It requires you to be mindful of the emotional currents in your interactions, to distinguish between genuine requests for help and attempts to exploit your goodwill. It's about understanding that you have the right to say no without feeling guilty. And once you recognize this manipulation for what it is, you can start setting healthier boundaries, protecting your emotional well-being, and reclaiming control of your life. Warning sign 13. Lack of personal interest. Think of a conversation as a two-way street, a place where thoughts, emotions, and experiences flow freely between both people. In a healthy relationship, both parties are invested, engaged, and interested in each other's lives. But when you're dealing with someone who just wants to use you, that two-way street turns into a one-way lane. Their stories, their problems, and their needs dominate the conversation. They expect your full attention, your empathy, and your support. But when the spotlight shifts to you, they tune out. They might change the subject, give a half-hearted response, or show visible signs of impatience. Your thoughts, your struggles, your successes, they barely register with them. This isn't just bad manners or poor conversational skills, it's deliberate. They've made a conscious decision that their life, their issues, and their opinions are more important than yours. It's a form of selfishness where they see you not as an equal partner, but as a sounding board for their thoughts and feelings. The impact of this can be profound. It leaves you feeling insignificant, frustrated, and alone. Everyone needs to be heard, understood, and validated in their relationships. When that doesn't happen, it slowly chips away at the foundation of the relationship, leaving you feeling like an accessory in their life rather than a partner. Recognizing this lack of personal interest is key. It requires you to pay attention to the dynamics of your conversations and interactions. Are they genuinely interested in your life, Or do they only care about their own? Once you recognize this imbalance, you can start seeking relationships that are truly reciprocal, where your thoughts, feelings, and experiences are valued just as much as theirs. Warning sign. 14. Superficial closeness. Imagine standing by the edge of a lake. The water looks deep, reflecting the sky above, shimmering with promise. But when you step closer, you realize the depth isn't there. That's what superficial closeness feels like. On the surface, everything looks great. They laugh with you, share stories, and engage in what seems like intimate conversations. But when you dig deeper, you find that the closeness is just an illusion. They may act like a close friend or even a committed partner, but when it comes to real vulnerability or sacrifice, they pull back. They're quick to enjoy the good times but conspicuously absent when things get tough. Their support is fleeting, and their presence is conditional. When the relationship requires effort, they distance themselves. Superficial closeness lacks the core elements that define a real relationship: trust, reliability, and emotional depth. They might make plans, but they break them just as easily. They might make promises, but they rarely keep them. Everything is on their terms, guided by their convenience and self-interest. What's the motive behind this? It's simple. They want to keep people close enough for utility, but not close enough to demand real commitment. It's a form of emotional hedging, where they reap the benefits of being close to others without putting in the emotional labor that real relationships require. Recognizing superficial closeness is essential for understanding the dynamics at play. It involves asking yourself whether the perceived intimacy is real or just a facade. Is this person truly there for you, or are they only around when it benefits them? Identifying this pattern allows you to seek relationships that are built on authenticity, where both parties are invested in each other's growth, happiness, and well-being. Warning sign 15. Persistent lack of respect. Respect isn't just a grand gesture. It's not about opening doors or saying please and thank you. Respect is woven into the fabric of daily interactions. It's about how we treat each other when things are easy and, more importantly, how we treat each other when things are hard. A persistent lack of respect in a relationship isn't just about the occasional argument or slip of the tongue. It's a pattern, a consistent thread of belittling comments, dismissive attitudes, and blatant disregard for your feelings and boundaries. Think of respect as the nourishment that helps a relationship grow. Without it, the relationship becomes a barren landscape where nothing healthy can flourish. Every interaction becomes a potential battlefield, with no regard for the emotional casualties. The person who consistently disrespects uses it as a tool, whether they realize it or not, to assert dominance, to maintain control, to keep you in a position where you feel less than them. When disagreements arise, instead of resolving them with empathy and understanding, they become opportunities to belittle you, to dismiss your perspective, to make you feel small. This behavior disrupts the natural ebb and flow of a healthy relationship, making it nearly impossible to return to a place of mutual respect. Recognizing this pattern of disrespect is vital. It's about seeing beyond isolated incidents and identifying the broader behavior. Respect isn't just about big moments. It's about the small, everyday interactions that show whether someone truly values you as an equal. If respect is consistently missing, it's time to acknowledge that the relationship isn't just unbalanced, it's unhealthy. A persistent lack of respect is a clear indicator that someone sees you not as an equal partner, but as a tool for their own benefit. This isn't just about the words they say. It's about how they treat you, how they handle disagreements, and whether they truly value your dignity and feelings. Recognizing this pattern is crucial for anyone who values themselves and seeks relationships built on a foundation of mutual respect. Conclusion. The 15 attitudes we've outlined paint a clear picture of individuals who exploit relationships for their own gain, with little regard for your well-being or the essence of true friendship. These behaviors, ranging from selective availability and manipulation through guilt to a persistent lack of respect, create a toxic dynamic where you are viewed as a resource rather than a valued companion. Recognizing these signs is crucial for protecting your emotional health and maintaining your self-worth. Genuine friendships are built on mutual respect, shared vulnerability, and reciprocity. By identifying these damaging patterns, you empower yourself to seek connections that enrich your life rather than drain it, and to surround yourself with people who appreciate you for who you truly are. Remember, you deserve relationships that foster growth, care, and authenticity. Anything less is not friendship. Thank you for watching. If this video resonated with you, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, take care of yourself and choose your relationships wisely. Did you know? Just one like from you can give me the motivation to create more awesome videos. And by subscribing with the notification bell on, you'll never miss out on my next amazing content. Don't forget to leave a comment below. Let me know what you think about this video or suggest a topic you'd like to see next.